Are you going to do some announcements, or I just start? I can announce the topic. You want to? I just start, right?
Yeah.
Want to observe protocol? You know what I mean? Okay. Do we have some new people? Anyone not been here before? Okay. I'm going to put some words on the screen shortly, and it's a nice song. It's names of Krishna in Vrindavan. It's kind of like our theme song, because Prabhupada, when he began class, he would sing this song. So we like following. So we're going to sing the song, and you can follow along. There it is. Very simple. 8 names. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Got it? Gopi Jana Bala Bhagiri Vadadhadi Gopi Jana Bala Gopi Jana Bala Bhagiri Vadadhadi Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chani Yamuna Tiravana Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Bhalabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Bhalabha Girivara Dhari Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Hari Vijakacharya Astatarasatasi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaura Premanandi. Those of you that have been not with us for this, so far, this nice, brisk winter retreat, we've been having some gatherings discussing this topic, personalities from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. So I've been requested to introduce you to the topic and even specifically to introduce you to who is Caitanya Mahaprabhu anyway. That's our topic. So Caitanya Charitamrita, this is the cover of Adi Leela, the first of several volumes. The entire Caitanya Charitamrita makes up 17 volumes. They may in their reprint have reduced the number of volumes, but that was the original print run. 17 volumes. It's a voluminous work. It was written by a great personality in his old age named Krishnadas Kaviraj. He was very skilled at many things, but rather than write in Sanskrit, which was many of the writings of learned personalities at that time, instead he wrote in a more accessible language for people in general, at least at that time, in that place, was in Bengali. And it's as you see across the top, the subtitle, the pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the teachings and the pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's what the book is. And then we've been discussing personalities from or of Caitanya Charitamrita. You see the cover picture. Here's underneath each of those 5 persons in the painting on the front cover. There's some names. Fortunately, it's not in Bengali. because I wouldn't be able to read it. It's in English. And the one in the center, that's Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Here's a larger painting of the same 5 personalities. Caitanya Mahaprabhu is in the center wearing yellow dhoti. And to his right or to our left, wearing a blue dhoti, that is his elder brother, Nityananda. I'm not going to introduce you to all these personalities. We're going to focus on Lord Caitanya. And then to his right or to our left with the beard there, that's the more elder Advaita Acharya. Going the other direction, next to Lord Caitanya, to his left or to our right, that's Gadadhar Pandit. Pandit means learned Brahmin. And Srivas, with a nice shaved head. That's Srivas Thakur. Now, who these personalities are identified in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but we're focusing on Lord Caitanya. And one of the reasons for focusing on Lord Caitanya, if I've understood correctly, is some of our members who are taking a look at the drawings of the plan for the new altar, plural, altars, they're wondering what's going on up there. Who are all those personalities? Because one of those personalities is Lord Caitanya. Well, you might be happy to see, it's not just here in Naperville where Lord Caitanya will be presiding. Take a close look at this painting and then take a close look at the altar in Sridham Mayapur. Those same 5 personalities called the Pancha Tattva, Pancha means 5, Tattva means truths, 5 truths, 5 aspects of the absolute truth with Lord Caitanya in the center. These deities are very tall. The devotees that serve the deities have to use a little stepladder because they're like 7, 8 feet tall, something like that. Very large, very large. In front of them are smaller sized, or the festival deity, the Utsav Murtis, but it's one of the major temples in the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, some of us were visiting in Vrindavan just during the Kartik month. And I was very delighted and surprised to see this very same Panchatattva, large forms, deity forms, at one of the main temples in Vrindavan. Some of you haven't been there in a while. When you go, you'll also be very surprised and very appreciative of what's been done. At the Radha Damodar temple, which is one of the principal temples in Vrindavan, there are these deities along the side of the main temple facing the Samadhi and Bhajan Kutirs of Rupa Goswami. Now, some of the people that are really new, this doesn't mean much to you. I'm just mentioning it because here in Naperville, there will be Murti, a place for Lord Caitanya on the altar, and now you're going to have some idea of like, who's that? Some idea at least, a beginning idea. So that's where we're going with this. Who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? We say Lord Caitanya or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who is he? There's many ways to describe who he is, and one of the most essential ways is he's the Yuga avatar. What does that mean? Yuga, according to Vedic scriptures, there are this. It just says in the West here we have 4 seasons, and we know which one's happening right now. And we know what happens after this one. We know what happens after that one. They cycle. They move in cycles. So the 4 yugas are also in cycles. And it's the winter season. The Kali Yuga. And then following Kali Yuga, we know what season comes. Or what yuga comes. Satya Yuga. Dwarpa Yuga. Treta Yuga. Kali Yuga again. So Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the avatar for this age of Kali. What does avatar mean? We're going to see a literal definition. Literally, avatar means one who descends. He descends from the spiritual world to perform the main means of perfection or deliverance of living entities in this world by a particular process. We're going to see those 4 processes. There's 4 yugas, summer, fall, winter, spring. 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwarpa, and Kali. And there's 4 dharmas, one for each of the 4 yugas. Here's a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam indicating what those 4 ages are and the yuga dharma for each of those 4 ages. So you see, Krite yad dhyayato Vishnu, dhyayate, meditation on Vishnu is the principal means or principal prescribed dharma for the first of the 4 ages. Now, we're accustomed to saying Satya Yuga, and it's also correct. Krita Yuga is also correct. They're interchangeable. The second, Treta Yuga. The Treta Yuga, the process is the process of performing of sacrifice, Makai, like during the time of Lord Ramachandra, during that yuga. The means was performing sacrifice. And then in Dwapara Yuga, when Krishna appeared, that's serving the lotus feet or deity worship. And then in the last line, Kalau Tad Hari Kirtana. Hari Kirtana, chanting of Hari, the chanting of the holy name. So Prabhupada has made this translation, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but names of Hari, just like in the very beginning, there were 8 names. Those are also names of Hari. It's the Yuga Dharma. Jai Radha Madhava. Yuga Dharma. Kunja Bihari. Yuga Dharma. It's engaging ourselves in the primary means for this age, for elevation of consciousness and relieving the conditioning of material life. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam is supported in many places within the Vedic scriptures. Here's one. It's found in Brihat Naradiya Purana. It's really easy. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nastyeva, 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 Gatir Anyata. Pretty easy. In this age of Kali, there's no other means for self-realization than chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name of Lord Hari. It's a good thing you're gentle. Somebody might say something back. So, Brihat Naradiya Purana. This is a well-known verse for those who are involved in the Yuga Dharma, because this verse is a pillar to support the Yuga Dharma. And that is to say, there's other dharmas that are prescribed for the other three yugas, and they're not going to be fully effective. Those other things can be done combined with Harinam, but standing alone is insufficient, insubstantial. They need this pillar to support them, the chanting of the holy name. So with the Yuga avatar, one who descends from the spiritual realm to this realm, he brings the Yuga Dharma. Now, here comes a good question. Where does he descend from? Because we're here, and there's another place, right? A spiritual world place. And where is that spiritual world place that he resides in eternally? And at the time of Kali Yuga, he descends. From where does he descend? Good question, right? Well, fortunately, our scriptures tell us from what place he descends. Some of you here are not yet familiar with Srimad Bhagavatam, but I'm going to acquaint you with Srimad Bhagavatam this evening. Here's the painting of the cover of Canto 1, Srimad Bhagavatam. And I'm going to give you a little guided tour of what is in this cover. All that blue, that's kind of like the background, that's the vastness, unlimited expanse of the spiritual sky. That unlimited expanse of the spiritual sky is called Brahma Jyoti. Jyoti means light, and Brahma Jyoti, the light of the spiritual sky. That's in the painting. Within that spiritual sky, you see some round globes that are kind of golden and glowing. Those are Vaikuntha planets that are within the spiritual sky. And you'll notice there's some little names from a distance you can't tell, but they're names of Narayana, depending upon the position of the implements in his hands. Club, conch, disc, and lotus in different positions have different names. So there are forms of Narayan known by different names according to the position of those four symbols. And down in the center, you see something that looks a little dark. That's where we are. It's a cloud that's floating in the vastness of the spiritual sky. It's just a corner of this unlimited spiritual sky, but that cloud is called the Mahatattva. And the Mahatattva has a form of Vishnu. Look closely, you see, it's Mahavishnu, who is reclining on the causal ocean, or the Karana ocean. Karana means causal. The causal ocean, and from his body are coming periodically innumerable material universes, and when he inhales, those universes again contract. Then there's the breathing again, and they expand again. Then the coming and going through the passage of time of universes. So the duration of universe is a long time. Won't give you the number, it's kind of mind-boggling. But it's time-bound. Everything that's created ultimately is destroyed. So what's outside of this cloud isn't created, nor is it destroyed. It's eternally existing. That's the spiritual world from which avatars descend. And some of the other avatars descend from some of those other Vaikuntha realms. We know some of them are very common. Lord Ramachandra is one, right? Ramachandra. He has a place in that spiritual sky. It's Ayodhya Dham in the spiritual sky. Or Lord Nrsingadev descends from the spiritual sky And he has his abode in the spiritual sky, and from time to time he descends and does what he does and returns to that spiritual abode, etc. Now look in the center towards the top, you see a really big one. It's not just golden, it's shaped like a lotus. And there's petals of the lotus, and inside the petals of the lotus there's a corolla, and inside the corolla there are 4 quadrants. The central, larger spiritual planet is called Goloka, or Goloka Vrindavan, and the 4 quadrants are the same. Listen carefully. When Krishna appears, he descends from Goloka, and he comes as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, and you know the whole description. He's transferred to Gokula, where he stays for some time with Nanda and Jasoda, etc., etc. So there's Vrindavan, that's one of the quadrants. Quadrants means 4. Vrindavan, Mathura, he goes to Mathura, and after some time he leaves Mathura and goes to Dwaraka. Now what's this other quadrant? Because there's 4. Look closely at that corolla, and in the center, on the left side, what do you see? You see Lord Caitanya. You see, that's what I see anyway. I see Lord Caitanya and Lord Nityananda and his associates having Nama Sankirtan. And that's what they do. That's the place from which Mahaprabhu descended. He's an avatar. He's the Yuga avatar for this Yuga, and it descended from the spiritual world in Krishna Loka, in that quadrant where he eternally resides. Now, how do we know all this stuff? From the scriptures. How do you know what's beyond your senses? There has to be some evidence. And if you're relying upon your senses for evidence, you're not going to be able to verify it because it's beyond your senses. Just like the soul. I'm listening the other day, Prabhupada was speaking into a group of devotees in Mayapur, and he was sharing. Yesterday, a gentleman came to see me and he wanted to know, what's the proof of the soul? I said, Shruti. Shruti pramana. What's pramana? Pramana means evidence, or the means of knowing something. So we're going to do a little philosophy. I won't do too much, because there's newer people here. Too much philosophy, people go to sleep. Little. According to the Vedic teaching, there are 3 primary, and they can break them down into further, but 3 primary means of knowing something. Evidence, pramana. One of them is pratyaksha, direct perception. Seeing is believing. Problem, our senses are imperfect. Problem, you're not going to get perfect knowledge with instruments that are imperfect. And even you use your senses to make better instruments, they're still made by your senses, they're still imperfect. Because they're a product of something imperfect. So, no cheese down that hole, as they say. So now what's another option? Well, I can use my reasoning faculty and I can infer something by logic and reason. Problem, I make mistakes. I'm subject to illusion. So that's not a perfect means of knowing things. History has proven it's not the best means of knowing things. It's a fallible means. You can know something. Just like, as you get closer to the door, you feel some cold. So you can infer it's colder on the other side of the door than it is in this room. But there could be some other reason than, what you think it is. Anyway, logic and reason is imperfect. Senses are imperfect. There's a Sanskrit term, anuman, reason and logic. So When you take those two away, what's left? And then what's left is the way of knowing things. And the way of knowing things is shruti, through hearing from a source that's infallible. If you can get a source that's infallible, and you can hear, even the hearing is going to make mistakes. We're not going to hear everything perfectly, so we have to hear it again and again to gradually refine our hearing power. But that's the best way to get proper knowledge. What to speak of things that are just by their very nature beyond your senses and beyond your reasoning power. We discussed this the other day in one of our classes. Huh? Yeah, consciousness. But so then different people have different ideas of what that is. I'll go there. You thank you for speaking. Have you heard of out-of-body experiences? Your friend? Out-of-body experience? You're in the black jacket. You've heard of the term? Out-of-body experience? We discussed it. I'm going to spin out a little bit on OBEs, out-of-body experience. The first time I came in contact with it was I read a book that was written by a brain surgeon from Emory University Medical School. The name was Dr. Michael Sabom, S-A-B-O-M. You can look it up later. And he was doing, it wasn't brain surgery, it was heart surgery. So he was doing heart surgery. And during the operation, the patient had cardiac arrest, which is a fancy word for saying the heart stopped. When the heart stops, guess what? You die. So they have a procedure. They have these electrodes. They place when the EKG stopped moving, it just got stopped because the heart stopped. I think it's EKG, whatever some meter says it stopped. Got the electrodes, put the electrodes on the chest. It makes an artificial way of as if the heart is pumping when it's not pumping. So the body reads the heart's pumping and it starts to work again, at least for a little while, artificially. And the man lived. He pulled out of the cardiac arrest situation. The surgery was successful. The doctor went to see him the next day or two. He was recovering in his hospital bed. Bedside nature of a good doctor. How's it going? How you feeling? And the patient described what happened in detail during the cardiac arrest. Like, this assistant said such and such, and then they did that, and then he said this, and then get this, and put the whole thing, like he had a camera or he was taking a picture of the thing, and audio. And the doctor was like, what? There's got to be some other explanation besides this, how is it possible? So in short, he wrote a book. He asked a lot of other doctors, not only in his hospital, other doctors. And he had hundreds of other reports where people had OBEs. And the man was saying he was hovering above the operating table, looking down at the operation that was happening, describing what was going on the operating table. Which means two things. The seat of consciousness is not the body. Or there's consciousness that's something other than the body, because when there's cardiac arrest, blood stops going to the brain, and the whole brain stops working because blood's not going to the brain because the heart stopped. So it's not, the waves of the brain because it shut down. What to speak of, it's above the body, looking down at the body and hearing the conversation and reporting it later. Long story short, consciousness, it's not proof. Maybe there's some other explanation. Besides consciousness, call it whatever you like. consciousness is not something that's just happening within the body. It's happening within the body, but it's happening because there's something in the body. And when that something leaves the body, consciousness still goes on. He writes at the end, I'm reluctant to say, but I can't find any other explanation. It's not like he was an atheist, he was a scientist. But as a scientist, he doesn't want to make a declaration that you can't verify it within science. It's not verifiable. It's not it's not disprovable either. So he had put it in the parking lot, saying, I'm reluctant to say this, but I don't have any other explanation. So, how do you know about the fourth quadrant or anything that's in that picture there? How do you know anything about anything? So there's there's the senses, reason and logic, and Shruti. The Vedas are called Shrutis because they're heard. That's what it means, Shruti. That's a popular girl's name, Shruti. That which is heard, Shruti. I think we have some Shrutis right here in the room, or at least downstairs. So that's where Caitanya Mahaprabhu descends from. He's an avatar that descends from Krishna Loka, or Goloka in the spiritual sky, and he descends to deliver the Yuga Dharma. I mean, there's some details about all of that. Now, who is he? That's where he comes from, and he's a Yuga avatar. So who is he? Anyway, here's a nice verse. Hey, the verse is from Caitanya Charitamrita, that big book you saw at the very second slide. Right in that big book, in the first volume, in the first chapter of the first volume, the 5th verse. Adi Lila 1:5. So here's the verse, the Sanskrit. In case you're not fluent in Sanskrit, I'll help you translate it a little bit. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmanava Pibu Vipura Deha Bedam Gatautau. What does that mean? Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir. The loving affairs of Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of Hladini Shakti. First line. Hladini Shakti. They're transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure potency. Hladini Shakti. Eka, Atma. Although Radha and Krishna are Eka, but they have two forms. Deha Bedam. Deha means body. Beda means two. One entity in two forms. Radha Krishna. We'll do it again. It's nice. It's really nice. Radha and Krishna, both the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna, are a manifestation of Hladini Shakti. Whose Hladini Shakti is Radha? Say it the other way. Radha is Krishna's Hladini Shakti. What's Hladini Shakti? The internal pleasure-giving potency of Krishna is Radha. And their exchanges are the manifestation of Radha with Krishna, or Radha Krishna. And their form eternally manifest as two. It's one entity. One entity, just like, really simple, the sun and the sunshine. Question. You ever had the experience of sunshine without a sun? No. No such thing. Ever had experience of sun without sunshine? No such thing. They're inseparable. There are two entities. The source of the shine is not the shine. The shine is from the source. So there's the sun and the sunshine, and they're inseparable, one entity. But manifest as two, Radha Krishna. The energy and the energetic. And specifically, the pleasure-giving energy of Krishna is Radha, manifest in two forms. One entity, manifest in two forms. Pretty nice. Now, who is Lord Caitanya? Look at this. This is second half. Notice the first word, Caitanya. So, now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Caitanya. So let's see it the other way. Who is Sri Krishna Caitanya? He is Radha and Krishna again in one entity or one form. Interesting. He has the bhava, notice in the final line, Radha bhava duty suvalitam. Bhava means transcendental sentiment. Duty means luster. Duty means luster. Radha has a golden luster or complexion. Krishna has a shama complexion. Radha has a golden complexion. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the complexion or duty of Radha, golden. Therefore, one of his names is Gora Hari, or the golden form of Hari, or Gauranga, a nice name. His angas, his limbs are Gora, golden. He manifested the duty of Radha and the bhava of Radha, the transcendental sentiment of Radha. Two entities, two forms, one entity, now one form, one entity. Who is Lord Chaitanya? Radha and Krishna in one form, with the luster and the sentiment of Radha. That's who he is. And he descended to do what? To give the Yuga Dharma, with the Yuga Dharma. Nam Sankirtan, chanting the holy name of Hari. Here's a very nice, I hope the technology works. There it goes. Lord Chaitanya, look at this, is in the mood and the luster of Radharani. Ooh. And she's very beautiful. And Gora Hari was also very beautiful. And he, in one form, he is not just Radha, he's Krishna in the mood and the complexion of Radharani. Here's a nice painting from our Chaitanya Charitamrita. Pictured in this painting is a governor of, like when this was written, it was Madras, now Chennai. It was part of the kingdom of one king. So he was the governor of one city in the kingdom of, I don't want to bewilder you with names, but Prataparudra was the king of Orissa. The kingdom extended all the way down that far. It was a big kingdom. It moved around over the years, but that was his kingdom. So Ramananda Roy was the governor. He was a great devotee. And Lord Chaitanya, pictured here in the painting, they met and they had discussions on topics about Krishna. And the discussions on the topics of Krishna were otherworldly. And as they were discussing, Ramananda Roy said, "You're not just a sannyasi, you're Krishna himself." Lord Chaitanya, who was Radha and Krishna combined, smiled, and he manifested his Radha and Krishna form. That's what the painting is illustrating. And Ramananda Roy fainted. That was pretty exceptional. He didn't go around doing that so much because Ramananda Roy was so qualified. He showed him the transcendental reality of who he is. More common is when people know something about Lord Caitanya, along with the chanting, there you see the mridangas, and there you see Lord Jagannath and the Rath Yatra cart. So he stayed for a number of years in Jagannath Puri after accepting sannyas, which was the request of his mother to not go to Vrindavan but go to Puri. So she did, because he said Krishna's there too. So he went. And there he is dancing before the Rath Yatra cart of Lord Jagannath. And sometimes the cart would stop. During the Rath Yatra parade, the cart would stop. Why would the cart stop? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not dancing in front of the cart, but behind the cart. So Jagannath was having a strike. I'm not going anywhere. So the description in this Chaitanya Charitamrita is the king got out many elephants, humongous elephants. I don't know how to make an elephant sound. But if I could make an elephant sound, I'd make like 5 of them and strive, just pulling and pulling and pulling, and the cart wouldn't budge. And Mahaprabhu told them, step aside. He put his head on the back of the cart, gigantic cart, and the wheels started rumbling. Because Jagannath wanted to please Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu wanted to please Lord Jagannath. And so everyone was understanding the divinity and the transcendental potency of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After some time, he wanted to go to Vrindavan. When going to Vrindavan, one of the places he visited was a forest in Bihar called Jharikand Forest. This painting is showing Mahaprabhu along with his brahmachari assistant back there freaking out because Lord Chaitanya is getting all the forest animals to chant. And they were chanting and dancing and roaring, Krishna! Or something like that. Balabhadra was like, this is dangerous. He has tigers dancing with deer. All the enmity was gone because by the influence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he finally made it to Vrindavan, many things happened. One of those things was he revealed that Govardhan Hill is none different than Krishna. And when he saw Govardhan Hill, he wouldn't walk on Govardhan Hill, although some of the locals do, but he saw a large Shila of Govardhan, embraced the Shila and began crying like he was embracing his beloved Lord Krishna. That's some of what you'll find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The character of the Amrita, the nectarian character of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Here's another quick little bit of information. You see in big red letters, Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. The first part is Kali Kale, Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. So there's an avatar for each of the ages of mankind, and in this age, along with Lord Chaitanya, is the name, Nama Rupe. Not just the name, but the form of the name. The form of the holy name of the Lord is the incarnation of Krishna in this age of Kali. Simply by chanting the holy name, one associates with the Lord directly. Anyone who does this is certainly delivered. So that's a little explanation for our Sunday program of who is Lord Chaitanya. And when you see Lord Chaitanya appear on the altar, he's going to appear on the altar, right, Premananda? You know the date? Akshaya Tritiya. She'll tell you when the date is. I'm sure she'll tell you when the date is, if you don't already know. I'll be here. I want to see Lord Caitanya installed on the altar. Here's some very nice paintings. There's a very old one from Lord Chaitanya's dancing. Here's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanting. In the background, you see the dome of the Jagannath Puri temple. And another very nice one I like is this one. And that's it for this evening. Who is Lord Caitanya? And we have half a day left in the winter retreat on personalities from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I see that it's 6:20 and I've probably gone past time, right?
6:30.
6:30. Look at that. I broke the record. Let's see if there's some comments or discussion or questions or complaints or whatever you'd like. Don't ask me to make it warm outside. Yes.
What is the path to learn or understand out of body experience? I'm pretty loud.
Yeah, I can hear, but there are people online, they may not be able to hear how loud you are. Well, the scientists that write about it, particularly the heart surgeons, that cardiac arrest is one of the main places where people have out-of-body experiences. To my knowledge, there's others, but that's one of the main clinical ones because the people examining it are like, they're professionals, they're doctors. So that's one place you can learn. And I didn't have to do a whole lot because I was quite familiar with Bhagavad Gita, and to me it was like, no problem. But I read another one. I'll tell you one other one. This was also a lady heart surgeon from a university in Washington State. Forget which university. And she described something that was really far out. One person experienced out-of-body experience during heart surgery, same thing, cardiac arrest, same thing. The person was observing from up above the operating table, and then they started to float across the ceiling, out the window, up 2 flights, and found themselves looking inside the janitor's closet through a window. And there's a little ledge above the janitor's closet that you can't see from the inside of the building. There's a little ledge. She saw, the patient saw a pair of sneakers that had a little rip in the toe and different color shoelaces and the whole, details. She was like, what's this? She went to ask the janitor. She said, nobody can get in there. I locked the place. So, but the person described exactly what's in the locked up janitor's closet. And the shoes that you can't see from inside, she had somebody look from above, and there's the pair of shoes. Exactly like she described, or the patient described. What's going on here? So she wrote a book about it because she did like what this other doctor did and consulted other persons who they didn't want to report it because it was like too weird. But there was a number of cases, I forget the number, a number of cases of people reporting such things. And then, there's reports and they're quite interesting, but what's the explanation? Aside from what ones may have as religious conviction, the evidence points to, again, this is the imperfectness of reasoning, but the seat of consciousness is something other. And even specifically, the brain, because blood stops going to the brain and the brain shuts down. Everything shuts down. But normally, thinking and perceiving is thought of as, all this stuff that goes on within the brain, the neurological network that hooks up to the brain, and then you can process things that you perceive with your senses, the eyes and the nose and touch and so forth, processed by the brain. shut down, but perceiving still, with lots of acuity and memory. Far out, huh? So, how you want to know how you find out more about it? Read those books. There are many. Sir, we have to bring you the microphone. Bring him the microphone. Hold on. I know you're loud, but there's some people that are online that aren't going to be able to hear you unless we bring you the microphone. Sure.
What is the connection between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada?
The connection, one is the servitor and the other is the served.
Guru Maharaj, I just wanted to say I have access to a database of out-of-body experiences and near-death experiences. If Mataji is interested, I can...
So you just hook up with her.
Yeah.
Back there. She's a young scientist.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. So Maharaj, thank you so much for the wonderful class. So Maharaj, my question is like, you mentioned 4 places where Krishna performs pastimes, is like first Vrindavan, second
I didn't.
Mathura,
It's not what I said.
4
There are
quadrants.
4 quadrants
Okay.
in Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavan.
Okay,
And 3 of them are places where Krishna performs his pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan. And the 4th is where Mahaprabhu performs his pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan. That's what I said.
okay. So Maharaj, is the 4th one, we can say Navdvip Dham?
What about it?
Because Navdvip Dham where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu perform his eternal pastime there.
Do you like Brahma Samhita?
Yeah,
You've heard of it, right?
yeah,
You chant it sometimes?
yeah, I chanted some.
Those last 2 verses that have real long meter, Swetadweep is in the last line of those 2 verses that have the very long meter. Go to your Brahma Samhita and check it out. It doesn't say Navadweep, it says Swetadweep.
Okay.
And in Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's brilliant commentary, he explains that Swetadweep refers to what you're saying is Navadweep, or the abode of Mahaprabhu. That Swetadweep portion of Goloka is where Mahaprabhu resides eternally. Check it out.
Thank you, Maharaj.
The word Navadweep is nice. Mataji, just hang on. Just hang on. I see your hand. Just hang on. We'll get to you. Thank you. So the term Navadweep is used in connection with Mahaprabhu's pastimes, but the abode doesn't have that same name, at least in the scriptures that I'm aware of. But it's the same place. Is that all right? Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Mataji, I see your enthusiastic hand up. Remember, we have 2 minutes to go.
Is Krishna more important or his name is more important?
Oh. That was a trick question. Time is up. They're equally important. How's that? But, for those of us that are covered souls, you know any covered souls? You know one? For covered souls, the important access to those that are equally important is the more important. And that's the name. So the name we get access to the equally important form. Tricky question. You've been practicing, I can tell. Okay. Look at this. We ended on time. Do I get some prize? What do you want me to do? You want me to read something? I can read it, but I think no, it's too many.
Too many
Too many people. Look at this.
thoughts.
Yeah. Nice try, though. Okay.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. So, thank you all for coming. Maharaj has been conducting this winter seminar for many, many years. This year, fortunately, seminar came to Naperville. It used to be here before, went to Chicago, came back. And so this year's topic was personalities from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. And specifically because I requested Maharaj to speak about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because we are anticipating the installation of our deities during Akshaya Tritiya. Shyam Prabhu will be announcing all that later. But before I pass this on to him, I just wanted to, from my heart, I want to request all of you to come and participate in the deity installation. This is an invitation to all of you. A couple of quick announcements. One is Mukunda is going to do the temple tour, the new temple tour at 7 o'clock. He will be downstairs at the lobby, and if anyone who is here today is interested in going and seeing the new temple, you can meet him in the lobby. I think he will identify himself, I'm assuming. There are no Sunday feast sponsors today, so Dr. Brahm Gupta always sponsors if there are no sponsors. So please chant the holy names of Krishna after me so that he makes progress in his spiritual life, he and his family. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The children's winter camp, we call that Bhakti Immersion Camp. It is from January 2nd through 6th. The topic is the same. The personalities from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can still register your children on our website, iskonnaperville.org. We are continuing our tradition of recognizing or appreciating at least one devotee during Sunday feast. Is Devi Murti Mataji here today? Where is she? Where? Come. So it looks like everyone knows you. Anyone who don't know Devi Murti Mataji? Wow, everybody knows. I don't need to introduce. So Devi Murti Mataji and family, they moved here to Naperville just last year, right? Last year. And she is such an amazing devotee. About 10 years of practicing Krishna consciousness, 2 wonderful children, and her husband is Gopal Haridas Prabhu. So we all know them. But more than anything else, my appreciation of her is her enthusiasm to do service in the temple. I don't need to tell, or nobody need to tell her anything. She comes on her own, bring the children, whether it is winter or summer, she is here. She cleans the temple. She loves to take care of Tulasi Maharani. She organizes. She cooks, and she is the queen of baking. And everybody knows about her cake. I'm sure everybody ate her cakes. And she helped a lot with the winter camp cooking also. And she cooks generously. Fantastic feasts. And completely dedicated to Krishna's service. She loves doing that, a genuine devotee. And I'm so happy that she's here with us. And please give her a big hand. Thank you. Before I pass this on to Shyam Prabhu, just I have a request. If there are 2-3 people available for cleaning in the temple, pot washing, after prasadam, please report to Panduranga Gopal Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, every year we print this greeting card and we send it to Request family. So starting with you, this is an annual tradition we do. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much. It's seems winter outside, but inside is very warm weather, isn't it? First of all, today is a very, very important day. Besides being Christmas, this is also the last Sunday of the year 2022. Sunday is very important for us. This is the one very special year where we have continuous service on every Sundays. We had a situation, if you all remember, what happened in 2020, 2021. We have to stop Sunday programs. And also prior to that, due to various limitations of our resource, whether not having pujaris, not having, weather supporting, we had to stop some Sunday program. So this year, throughout the year, we continue this program. Give a big hand to everyone who worked on this. It takes countless hours and lot of thoughtful planning, and many times we kind of don't really recognize that. And the center of this is none other than our temple president, Premananda Mataji. Many of you don't realize that how much meticulous planning has to be there. Planning from morning to food, to devotees, to pujaris, and to do all these, again, looking at from this side to this side, many of you, this is our almost 10th year, 10 plus years where we started this Sunday evening program, and which has manifested in something like this. Now, next year is very important. But before that, this year, if you look at the various events that we could conduct, having Prabhupada deity installed, having our temple construction gone that far, and with all the challenges, countless challenges in terms of the logistics challenges, price rise challenges, interest rate challenges, but we are just getting there. But it is not possible by one person, one individual, one idea. This is our family. I mean, looking at all of you, you all have contributed, whether it's financially, whether by labor, and this we have to continue, and we have to continue a little bit more next year, because this building, that the beautiful building that we are building together, it requires this kind of family support. And in a family, like, everybody has different role to contribute. So my humble request to all of you, the next year, it is going to be a little bit challenging. So, and financially, we cannot ignore. Financial helps are very, very important. So today, I am requesting all of you to think carefully, plan for 2023 in a way that you are contributing towards the success of our new temple. Plan it in a way financially, and it's all possible. If you plan at the beginning itself how you want to contribute, you will be able to make it. And people have shown the examples. I mean, Krishna Murari Prabhu is there, and many of you know, and in case don't, he's one small initiative which has resulted in us to host all the pujari to his home, and that his own contribution. He bought an apartment, he gave it to us, and that's why our pujari family is living in that apartment. So likewise, give a big hand to Prabhu. Yeah, and it was just done by one person, right? So likewise, we all can be a little bit creative. And again, this is the very important time. Trust me, that next year we all have to stay together to go past. And next year, if we cross the next year, then it will be much easier. So right now, as I'm speaking to you, we have $2.5 million loan, plus there could be around $500,000 interest-free loan that we have to pay. So about $3 million debt we will be having. There are various ideas, various fundraising activity planned, but but it is not possible just by one person, one fundraising team, or one. So we all need. So please talk to me. Anything that you want to do, we can work together. Do one brick, do one murti sponsorship, do pledge, interest-free loan, whatever it is. But it is very, very important. So please, I request you for that. So to start with, next year, the next Sunday is again is January 1st. So every January 1st, we do a wonderful program. And so I invite you, come with your friends, come with your family, and chant. So our target for next year is to chant around 6 million holy names. So it is led by our festival team, and so I request you, all of you, please come morning, evening, wherever possible next Sunday with your friends and family and chant and be the part of the new beginning of 2023. As we go further, there are fundraising events planned in March, on March 21st or March 18th or 21st. We are doing one fundraising event. But Akshaya Tritiya is where we have our new temple inauguration. So please, 4 months flies like anything. So it's just planning has already started. However you want to be part of this plan, please come see me or talk to Ruchira Mataji. She is leading that effort, and let's make this a great success. A lot of people are looking forward. The ISKCON Naperville is now extremely low. Nobody in Chicagoland would say, oh, I don't know where is this temple. So people know this temple. People are very well aware of that a beautiful temple is coming. Now it's our job to make this happen. So with that, I really request you, in case, everybody has seen the new temple? Anybody who has not seen? You have not seen? Half of the people have not seen. Come on, this is your time. I bet you, if you see the temple, you will say, wow. You will say, wow, what a wonderful temple. So please go. Mukunda Prabhu will be waiting for you. Take quick darshan, and there's a wonderful prasadam waiting for you. And by the way, not to forget, we have wonderful prasadam team. Sangeeta Mataji, she's a wonderful cook. Dr. Raghav, he's a wonderful cook. So they all prepare wonderful prasadam. There are some services required. Please take the darshan, have wonderful prasadam, and look at our new temple. And talk to me if any way you can help me, support me for the next year's project. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.